guys, so we're here with the owners of InkMasters Arlington, Joanna and Di Soto.
Yes, this is actually our brother and our sister-in-law. So we have an in here. But pretty much today, all we're going to be talking about is how they got started in the business, and they're just going to let us know a little bit about, you know, who they are and what they do.
Yeah, so really, I guess just starting is, how did your passion for, I guess specifically art, because that's what tattooing is, how did that start?
I guess I was around 4 years old when I started to draw. I don't really know what the first, what really got me into it as far as what I've seen. I do, you know, what I do remember is like seeing a lot of images, like my grandfather was in prison, so I would see some like stuff he would get out of prison, like some bandanas and stuff that they've done in there. And I had an uncle that was locked up for a little while, and I seen some of his paintings and drawings and stuff, and I was like, damn, like wow, like that's,
yeah.
I know it was kind of a horrible situation that way, but it kind of opened my eyes towards art, I guess. And it started me pushing me towards that, I guess.
Yeah, the first form of art that you saw was that.
Yeah, that I can remember, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, like my family, my mother and my grandmother, they could draw. So I don't know, I just kind of picked it up.
Do you feel like starting out, like you felt like, hey, I'm actually kind of good at this, like?
Nah, you know, the funny thing about that is like, my grandmother, man, she was very like. She would tell me if it wasn't right. Like she would say, like, nah, you need to do that again.
Yeah.
You need to do that again. So I always have to draw it again. So in my mind, I was always trying to make it better, regardless if everybody said it looked good. I felt like, nah, I need to do a little bit more. You know,
do you feel like that translates into like your tattooing now? Do you feel like
it translates into everything I do?
Yeah.
Honestly, like that translates into everything I do, because if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. Or I'm not gonna do it at all.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge in the tattoo industry, because obviously, you know, everybody sees like bad tattoos and stuff like that, but it's like somebody really had the balls to say, I could do it.
Yeah.
You know, and then you see,
yeah,
and then you see like people show you, like we had a friend that showed us like, look at this tattoo, and I mean, it got infected. I mean, it's completely, his arm is scarred, and I was like, man, somebody really told you like, I got you, and that's
that's the scary thing about it, is people trust in you to put what they want, either it's a loved one or something that's really memorable to them, or something that's really meaningful, or it could not even have to be that. It could be something they really want, you know, something that they really like, and your job, and they're trusting in you and your artistic ability to create what they want.
Yeah.
And you gotta try to knock it out the park.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
honestly,
that's my opinion. You know, like, and then that's what I think we strive for here, is that until the guys is like, I come in here and try to do every tattoo the best I can, no matter how small or how big it is. Because one, there's my name behind it, and everybody else in here that I have working with, you know, we work together. So I'm not gonna let myself down more than them.
Yeah, because it's like a whole community reputation you have to uphold.
When was the first time that you picked up a tattoo gun? Really, my question is, what even led you to become interested in tattoos? Because you kind of had a passion for drawing. And
So I always hung around with a lot of older friends growing up, and it wasn't the best of areas growing up at the time. So I would watch them, you know, they would get in and out of jail, whatever, and I would watch them tattoo another friend of mine, and it was all prison machines and homemade stuff, you know, guitar string needles. It was very crude, very like unsanitary, none of us knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
So I seen them do that, and I think I was like 16 or 15, and I was like, I think I can do that. Yeah. I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, so he's like, oh yeah. So he made me one, and man, I just started tattooing little friends in the neighborhood at 15, 16 years old, and getting in trouble, and whoa, that was a tough one.
So Joanna, was your first tattoo his work?
Yes.
What was it?
I'm gonna say it was a tramp stamp.
And how old were you at the time?
Oh man, I don't remember. I had
like
to have been 17 or 18.
Okay.
Yeah. But he mentioned he'd get in trouble. I got in trouble. He tattooed his other brother. His brother And his mom called me like, why did you let him? I was like, I don't know.
The first thing she told me was like, don't tattoo your brother. You know, and I was like, I don't know, like I said, 15, 16, and he bugged me for 2 years. 2 years he bugged me, and finally
Until you broke down.
he turned 16. I was like, all right.
I'm tired of hearing you.
And then they found out because he had broke his collarbone in football. So, and he was already 18 at the time, or about to be 18.
Yeah.
That's when they found out. So we got a little bit of trouble for that too.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What was your first tattoo?
My first tattoo, I got tattooed when I was 14. It was an image from one of my I think my grandfather from when he was in prison. It was a smile not credit, you know,
Okay.
those comedy tragedy faces. It was a design that was done on a handkerchief that we had for a long time, and that was my first one.
Yeah.
And who did that for you?
Man, this dude in the garage.
Yeah?
Some dude in a little garage, man, in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think everybody from the north side of Fort Worth went to him back then, you know.
They did.
Yeah. So then coming to the point now where you decided to open your own shop, like how did that happen? Between like all that first starting out to this point now.
This was a long road for me. When I started tattoo, I started very young, in the wrong way of trying to learn how to tattoo. But it was very hard in the 90s for me to get into a shop to tattoo, or even to learn. Not really so much tattoo, to learn. I got into a shop when I was 18. I was tattooing myself already and stuff, and I started working in the shop in the north side area. And I learned quite a bit of things, what to do, what not to do, and what to do, you know, as far as, because I don't know anything about tattooing, you know, I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There was no, like,
There's no YouTube
videos, and there was no tutorials, there was no, like, you know, and I didn't know anything about it, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have, you know, money to buy magazines and none of that stuff, you know, so I didn't know anything about tattooing, just from what I seen, you know, and, man, I don't know, it just was a long road. I started tattooing at that shop, and, I don't know, I just felt like it really wasn't gonna work. Like, I don't think this tattoo thing is really gonna work, you know, like, it's not what I really wanted. It was kind of a street shop, you know, wasn't very busy, you know, which is, you know, but it kind of put me down a little bit. It made me a little scared about tattooing as an actual job.
Yeah.
And I had a wife already, and then, you know, we had a child. So, of course, I had to take care of them.
Yeah.
You know, so I started working on cars. I worked on cars for about, 10 years or so. Went to school for that. When I was in school up north, I was tattooing at a shop. And I did very well up there. And I was like, wow, like, people can make pretty good money tattooing, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, okay. And as I came back, and I kind of got away from tattooing for a few years, just to focus on learning the craft of working on cars and stuff like that, and just making the money, be able to make the money that I need to make the money to pay for you know, for bills and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old were you at that time?
Oh man, let's see, what year?
About 21.
Damn.
21, 22.
What, when I was in school or when?
Yeah, like when you got done with going through the program up north.
Yeah, it was back in 06, 07 when I left. 06.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a hard thing, not only for him, but for the family, because
Yeah.
we already had one child, and he had to up and leave everything.
Yeah.
He had to leave his family, he had to leave us behind. I had to fend for myself while he had to fend for himself in school.
And I mean, at that point, you guys had been together how long?
We had already been together a good 4 years, maybe?
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
It may have been less, but
Yeah.
we were
But
already
you hadn't
very
really been
committed.
apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had been committed. We had
Yeah.
never been apart like that.
Yeah.
So it was really hard. It was a very tough moment. When he went to school, he was very smart. He's always been very detailed about anything. Whether he reads something, he applies for something, or just looks at something, he pays attention to the details. So when he decided to make that transition from tattooing to go to school, he also got his business degree. Why we didn't know, I didn't know. We were never taught that your kind can own a business.
Right.
So it was kind of odd for us, but he knew what he wanted. He knew he didn't want to work for someone else the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So he took his business degree, and in the end, it paid off.
Yeah, definitely.
I think.
I feel like, I mean, growing up, seeing what each of our, you know, perspective fields are in, sometimes you feel like, do I even belong here? You know, like, is there even a space for me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you walk into these spaces and they're, I mean, if we're just being honest, they're white spaces because of how it is. You walk in and you have to like remind yourself, like, no, I do belong here. Like, I am supposed to be here.
Someone of color always has 2 to 3 to 4 to 10 times more to prove.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be picked out and left behind if you don't keep up and stay ahead of the game.
Yeah.
You can't just be,
The
the same with everybody
You have
else.
to be
You gotta be better. You gotta be
Yeah.
faster. You gotta be fluent in anything that you're doing, plus your culture.
Yeah.
Because then you get looked at. I mean, look at those funny memes that all the Mexicans that can't speak Spanish should be the first ones to go.
Yeah.
It's your own
Yeah.
culture going
Yeah,
after you,
that's
plus
true.
the culture that's already looked down on you for so
Yeah.
long. So
And that's huge, you know, because I feel like right now we're in a time where a lot of people are, you know, in our communities are pushing themselves to, you know, open their businesses or step out of their comfort zones. And, you know, even in our own communities, like, people talk crap or people aren't as supportive as you thought they were. You know? People will say all day that they want to start their own business, but when it comes down to it, it's like, damn, this is
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
It's
it
a lot of work,
effort
man.
and stress, and sometimes, you know, like having to weigh things out.
Having to adjust, even with the that's going on right now, you know, like, how do you adjust? How do you stay afloat? How do you make sure you're doing everything you can right now
Yeah.
that maybe you don't normally have the time to do?
Yeah.
Instead of like crying about it, like, oh no.
Yeah, you can't stop.
You know,
gotta
you
keep
can't.
going.
You do.
you got a
You gotta
list
keep
going,
going.
whether it's
Yeah.
a list for the shop or the list for the
Yeah,
home.
I mean, I gotta
Yeah.
keep moving. I gotta keep it moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they just my mouth, you know, it's everybody's and their family that works here too.
Yeah,
you know, so.
exactly. There's a little bit more,
Yeah.
you know.
He's got 2 families to worry about, his tattoo
Yeah,
family and his
yeah.
home family.
Yeah. That's huge that you guys are in such a community that way that
Yeah.
you have to think about it.
Well,
that
yeah,
way.
because in this type of field, like what I love about this industry is that, or about how we do it here is that it's not. I mean, we're competitive with each other, but it's more to help each other grow.
Yeah.
It's more to like, hey, how'd you do that? How did you do that? Man, how did you do that? And then it's
Yeah.
kind of like going back and forth, and you see somebody, your peers doing something that's like, man,
And
kill that shit.
that
So then you got to do it too. You know what I mean?
a
Like,
few years ago, that was just like not normal for a tattoo artist to share their skills with other people. But now it's growing and people are sharing. We don't want to see you at the bottom of the barrel. We know what that's like. Why do that to you? If you grow when you help somebody else as well.
Sure.
You know?
And you see that kind of matches up in our industry because we always like to say like there's enough food for everybody.
Everybody eats.
Yeah.
I like to think,
Like
yeah.
you could be
There's
booked out
people-
here. There's still people out there that want
I mean,
to
there's
book with
people.
somebody
There's
else.
I don't know how many people turn 18 every day. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of people turn 18
That's
every day.
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
think about that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's like it's just there's so many people out here in this world. So it's I don't have you know what I mean. It's more the merrier, and the better the people are out there, the more money they can make,
It's true.
and the quality of tattoo that they're really going to put out there.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's what's going to help everybody is everybody's going to have
Elevate.
quality
Why
tattoos.
build one plant if you can build the whole freaking rainforest?
Yeah.
You know? Rebuild it, redo it right,
Yeah.
do it better.
So kind of talking about community and all that, I know you guys do road shows a lot. How did you guys get involved in that? How did that start?
I worked at a shop. So I started working back. I'm gonna kind of go back a little bit. When I was still working in the body shops, I was doing this for about almost 11 years or so, and I was at a very high-end shop the last 5 or so years I worked there. Probably one of the best shops you can work for in DFW. I feel like it's just as far as tech, you know, as far as just
Quality.
the people that worked there just cared about what they did. Their quality was perfect. You know, everybody that was there was almost handpicked to work there. You know, everybody it was a new shop, so everybody was picked to go work there. You know, and I mean, it was just a great bunch of guys, and everybody got along. Everybody cared about what they were doing, and the shop was air conditioned and heated. You know, it was a little more nicer than having to work out in 100+ degrees. You know, working on hot cars all day long.
Yeah.
So
In Texas.
in Texas, so I started working at the shop. I told my wife, like, hey, whatever what age I was at the time, like, I want to be 40 years old and look back and think, damn, what if? Or I could have, or I should have. I gotta at least try. I gotta at least try to do it. Let me try it. You know what I mean? If I can't make it, you know, like, I always go back to doing body work. You know, it's something I always have. And she was a little reluctant at first, but she finally got on board, and you know, because I knew if she wasn't on board, it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm not gonna jeopardize my family, lose my family over
As a
that.
wife, how do you let him not chase his dream? How do you take someone's dream away? Like, no, you got a family to feed, you got a good job.
Yeah.
You guys couldn't do that.
So I started getting back into shops. I started working on weekends. So I would work Friday nights, Saturday nights at the tattoo shop. Saturdays all day. I would drive like 2 hours because I was working in Dallas. And it was tough. It was
During rush hour.
4 years.
That's why it took 2 hours.
6:35, 1 through 6:35. You know,
At
at 5:30, 6 o'clock. You know what I
On
mean?
a Friday?
On a Friday. You know, and I don't know how many years of that. 2 years. It was 2 years of that. And so we did a first show. I never knew nothing about conventions at all. And then we did a first show together at that shop. A buddy of mine named Jeremiah I worked with, and a guy named Eric I worked with, another buddy of mine. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know. You know, I was kind of nervous because I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm just this guy that doesn't even learn from home. You know, I shouldn't be there, kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You start to wonder, like, man, I'm not good enough to be there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about all that. So I went, and then it was in El Paso. It was in El Paso, Texas, and it was this huge show. You know what I mean? They had these amazing artists there. I was like, God dang, like really? But so on a Saturday, I think it was, I went to Walmart and was printing out some photos for our portfolios because they have photos out on those booths, you know, while you're tattooing, so you can see the work. And I met a guy there. We're all printing photos. His name was Raymond, and he's my partner in this shop, you know, Raymond Hernandez. And I met him at that show. He's like, hey man, I do my own shows, you know, this and that. You know, he gave me a flyer, and I'm like, oh, all right, cool, you know, like. So I started following him, and we started talking and becoming friends. And he showed me, hey, come to the show. His first one, or his second show, I think in Texas that he ever did. It was in Lubbock, Texas. So I went, and then, man, we instantly just kind of set it off, you know, kicked it and just became friends, and just kind of went from there. And we just kind of kept doing shows and with him. I did a lot of shows with him. I did a few other circuits, you know, just. What I love about his shows is that, like, it's more with smaller shows. He likes to do them a little bit smaller. You know, he likes for the artist to make money. You know, his main purpose is for the artist to make good money and everybody's happy. You know, of course, they want to make money too. But at the same time, it's more of let's take care of our artists first, and then we'll make money.
That's smart.
You know what I mean? Because the artists are always going to come back, and that's why it's so hard to get into his shows because everybody that does his shows knows that he cares about everybody there.
Yeah.
He wants them to make money. He worries, like, if something's not happening, he's like, oh, man. He might not say it, but in his mind, he's just like,
he's thinking about
yeah, he's just
everything
kinda
he adjusted.
yeah,
I think he's one of the first people that kind of showed us, like, there's a lot more out there as far as tattoo industry. There's a lot more money out there for the tattoo artists, for the tattoo industry. There's a lot of it out there, and we didn't know. We never saw that. You don't see that on TV. You don't hear about it.
Seeing him already at the level he was at, from where he came from how he came from, like just like
Very
me,
similar backgrounds.
just like me.
And you said you met this guy at like
At a Walmart.
Printing out.
Printing out photos.
You see, like stuff like that to me is like this was destined.
Obviously,
This
you
was
know,
meant to
because every time, no matter how, like many times you went out to want to do something else, and you always kind of got reeled back in, start doing it on the weekends, you know, stuff like that.
It just was always in the back of my mind, like, man, shoot, why am I not doing that?
Yeah, let's talk about the health of the shop. So sanitation, like I know you guys have a lot of stigma with like, oh, tattoo places are dirty or
a lot
whatever.
of people think that's
What can you guys talk to us about that?
Well, I mean, as far as sanitation, I mean, it's the very, very strict thing. Is in most shops, you know, will say the same. It's just, it's kind of a weird thing to say, but you treat everybody like they have hepatitis or something, or they have HIV. You treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
So that being said, it's like you're double checking everything, you make sure everything's clean, everything you're touching is clean. You know, you're wiping everything after every tattoo, before every, you know, it's just always constantly cleaning. So it's, I mean, I don't know, I mean, these shops, I feel like it's probably one of the cleanest places that you're going to go to. You know, of course, because I mean, they do inspections, you know. State of Texas does inspections, they come check everything, they come wipe everything down, make sure it ain't dusty. I mean, it's a lot of things you have to take care of to make sure everything stays the way it needs to be.
And to me, like, that's a huge statement for you to say that, because you work in the medical field. You know what I mean? So you're in those settings, so you
Where
know
you
what
can
things,
see.
you know what the standard is.
Yeah.
Oh, she'll tell me too if something's not.
Yeah.
It's funny he said, you know, that we treat everybody like they have hepatitis. That is actually in the medical field learning manuals. Every year we have to take an annual course of how to disinfect, how to sanitize, how to wash your hands, and the importance of it and everything. And on those articles it says we treat every patient like they have AIDS or HIV. Every patient. And I think this particular shop, the shops that Lee and Ray take care of and manage and own, they are very particular how they're laid out, how they're cleaned, how often they're cleaned, what spots need to be cleaned the most. They have all the sanitizing materials that the hospital has. If not, they're more equipped than the hospitals, you know.
Yeah.
I know Carter Blood Care and plasma centers, they have people, you get patients in there and they wipe down the chairs and stuff, but they're all so close together. Here, they're spaced out, you know, so here is actually a little bit cleaner than a location like that, because you're not bumping into one another, you're not rubbing plasma on somebody else.
Proximity of like
Splash, you know, splatter, things like that. So in the tattoo shop, because of the stigma that tattoo shops have, they have to be on top of their game. They have to be cleaner. They have to be sanitized. They have to be inspected. Their paperwork needs to be right. Why build this beautiful shop just to get it taken away and just hand it to somebody else because you've made the mistake of not doing what you know you have to do?
So it's like you have to be cleaner than everyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want that strap on you. It's like that makes you feel like, oh man,
Yeah.
I'm dirty now. You know, it's like,
We're gonna keep going back to the stigma of tattoo shops because there's so many. Tattoo shops are dirty places. Tattoo shops are only for bad people. Tattoo shops are only for men. Tattoo shops are drug dealers. You know,
or people use drugs.
Exactly. And us in particular, this shop, we want to stand out. We want to kill every single one of those stigmas if we can.
Yeah.
We have a woman that tattoos here. Talented woman, and she's the only one that does American traditional at the moment. Neo-traditional as well. She's great at it, and we push her to it. And when she first came, I was super excited. Like, we need more women. There's so many women in the tattoo industry.
There's a lot of women in the tattoo
They're
industry.
exactly, and they're great. They're awesome artists. Like, you would never think.
Yeah.
Anytime you think tattoo artists,
A guy did it, right?
men.
Yeah,
Who
for
did it?
sure.
What guy
Same
did it?
thing
Yeah.
with a doctor. What do you think of doctors?
There's some talented women.
Men.
There's some
Yeah.
talented women that tattoo out there, amazing, you know, artists that I see that I even know that I've seen, you know, just like, damn, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's very hard for women, especially like.
Yeah.
It's a men-driven
definitely
industry.
yeah, and you can see it in the shows. You go to conventions, you'll see it.
Yeah.
You
A
know,
lot
you
of
see
men.
it. You see 95% of them are men. You know what I mean?
That those women are getting in there.
Yeah, they're putting in work.
That's
They're
awesome.
putting in work. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's, like I said, there's so many stigmas that we can actually go off of here, and we want to shatter all that. We want to break all that, from the inks that we use to the sanitation that we do to the paperwork that we use. Make sure that you explain things correctly to these patients, because it's not so much just doing the tattoo. Tattoo's done, you're on your way. What happens in a week or two from now if you didn't take care of that tattoo and no one explained it to you how to take care of tattoo? There's ways, just like if you have a surgery.
It's like, it's practically a medical.
Yes.
It is,
Yes.
yeah.
It is. So that also, if your tattoo is not well taken care of because your artist didn't explain it to you, it falls on him either way.
Right.
I'm not gonna tell you, oh, I didn't take care of it. I'm not gonna say, I was like, yeah, I guess he messed it up. You know, it's not my fault, it's his fault. That's just how generally in society works, and we want to stop that. You know, it doesn't have to go bad. It doesn't have to end up with the industry. It's just advanced so much because
the industry has changed a
people
lot.
are branching out, doing these shows, and they're talking to each other and getting ideas. One really amazing tattoo artist named Carl Grace actually tattooed Lee. And he was showing him and teaching him, and Carl made a really important statement that stuck with me. He says, if you're a tattoo artist, if you get into the tattoo industry, you're either gonna stay an artist and advance, you're gonna own your own shop, or you're gonna make an adjustment and improvement and create something for the tattoo community. And that stayed with me, and here we are. He was a tattoo artist, he's advancing a lot, he owns his own shop, but now he's thinking of different ways to maneuver things and what would be easier. We go to container stores, we go to Walmart, and we look at things that would kind of benefit the tattoo artist. And we let everybody know. The more you know, the better, the safer, the quicker it is to bash these stigmas that we're dirty, that we have, you know?
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
what he's been doing, and we want to just make it better. We want to be good role models for our culture and everybody in the tattoo industry. It's not as taboo as it once was.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say, just because you're talking about advancing and stuff, where do you guys see the tattoo industry going? Like, what are some of the big things that you guys hope to just see in these next maybe 10 years that you're like, I know that there's gonna be?
You've actually already seen them yourselves. You go to a hospital, there's surgeons with tattoos, realtors with tattoos, business owners with tattoos. Of course, you have a lot of the famous
Just a
basketball,
general
football
acceptance.
game. Yeah.
I mean, it has changed. Like I said, the past 10 years, it's changed a whole lot in the tattoo industry, and it has become a lot more accepted. And a lot of the people that I've tattooed a 75-year-old man 2 weeks ago was his first tattoo.
Oh, wow.
You know what I
that's
mean?
crazy.
So that, to me, that's cool. You know what I mean? To me, that's something like, wow, like something that they would have never done.
Yeah. I mean, in
is
that
changing.
age, in that age range, you wouldn't see that.
Yeah, it doesn't change who you are.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. It doesn't change who you are. Just because you tattoo, it doesn't change who you are. And honestly, like, is all these years, I can tell you right now, all these years that I've done TED conventions with, let's say InkMasters, I've done all these shows all these years with them. I'd say it's probably been 7 years or so, maybe even longer. There's nobody's ever stolen from one another that we have all known and all traveled together. Nobody has ever lost something. Hell, I lost my wallet one time, fell out of my truck, and one of the artists picked it up, got all my money, and gave it back to me. He found me inside and gave it back to me.
See, and that's
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things. It's like a stigma. It's like these motherfuckers gonna rob me, kind of thing. You know? And it's like, nah, it's not. That's not how it is.
They're
It's
good
like,
people.
they're very good people, and they're probably some of the best people you ever meet in your life.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's about seeing past the tattoos, don't make
And
you
just,
who you
I mean,
are.
to me, just past in any career field of what the person, their age, what they look like, anything like that.
We get that a lot. We get a lot of oh, you guys are young, what do you know about real estate?
Yeah.
And we're like, we grew up doing real estate. We've been doing real estate longer than you have, you know what I mean?
They don't know the background.
Yeah,
You
people
know what
don't
I'm
know. So when you prejudge like that, you could be missing out on either a great relationship that you could be making, or just,
a good branch out connection.
Exactly.
That we are doing. He told me it's hard on a family. As a family standpoint, it's really hard when you have kids. We now have 3. I didn't want to do this anymore. This was hard. I'm teaching my kids everything because he does have to take a lot of time out on the road, a lot of time at the shop. So he told me he doesn't want to do it for the fame. He doesn't want to get big in it. He just wants to be successful.
Yeah.
And that to me was it. I'm on board, let's do this, let's go. Because success is different than fame, you know?
Or the money, chasing the money is a whole separate conversation.
And even the success part has never been about the money for me either. As long as my family's comfortable and we're fine, me just pushing out the best that I can and feeling like, all right, this is what I need. This is
We're okay.
we're okay. We're good. You know.
Yeah.
Of course, you always want to push to have more, and that's just the drive in that type of person or the type of person you are. I've never been a person to be like, all right, I'm like, what's next?
Yeah.
Because I've never been able to stop.
There's no stop.
There's no stop. I've never been able
Yeah.
to do that. So I'm always like, what's next? What do we do now? What do we do now? What's the
Yeah.
next step?
And I feel like that's what sets people apart as business owners, because when you're not chasing the money, you're really focusing on how you treat people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And when you focus on how you're treating your people, you don't even have to worry about the money.
Yeah.
And
The money comes later.
Yeah.
The money
that's
comes later,
true.
and that's what I
Yeah.
talk to like the guys we all work together. I don't ever say to people, okay, well, I don't like to say like somebody works for me. We work together. Like nobody here works for me.
Yeah.
We all work together. We all work together. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, we all try to make it
contributes.
happen. We all contribute to make this shop happen. If not, this shop's not going to be where it's at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all of us. So the guys that we work together, I tell them, I was like, treat every tattoo that we do out of here like it's you're gonna do it in one wedding tattoo. Like treat it,
Yeah.
even if it's a tattoo that's the size of a quarter. You know, you knock it out of the park, they're gonna come back. And they're
Yeah.
gonna want something bigger, and they're gonna bring somebody else that wants something bigger.
Yeah.
And it's just a constant. That's where it's at, because they know you care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
They know that you didn't just
Okay, next.
next.
Yeah.
And I
You know?
think that's huge in any business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think as consumers, because at some point we're all consumers of somebody
Yeah.
else's
Yeah.
business. You feel when people care,
Yeah, you
actually
can tell.
care about people
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
you're just
Another
another
number.
passing
Yeah.
through, you know? So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
so I was gonna ask you,
Yeah.
what's your specialty? What is your niche in tattoo?
You know, I've always drawn as a kid a lot of realism style things, either it be faces or animals or whatever. I've always been into that style, or drawing cars, or drawing just realism stuff. So a lot of my work does go that way. It does go a lot of portrait style and realism style tattoos. I mean, I do a lot of different style of tattooing just because you kind of have to be able to do a little bit of everything, you know.
Yeah.
But a lot of people that I tattoo, they come for
Specifically
that
for
style of tattooing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, doing a portrait is, we've seen some awful portraits.
Doing a portrait is very,
Oh,
very
my
difficult.
God.
That's probably the hardest tattoo I do, I feel. But
Yeah.
I enjoy doing them because no matter how many times I do them, I always get nervous.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that part of it.
Yeah.
I enjoy that part of being nervous because I know that I'm not comfortable.
Yeah, it's pushing you.
Yeah, it's pushing me. Because I know I can do any little line or any little wrong shape, and it's not what that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of it. You know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So tell people where they can come find you.
So our shop is located in North Arlington, off 426 East Lamar Boulevard, Suite 112, right across from the Commons apartment complex
and
they
really,
built.
like, right by the stadium.
Yeah,
We're
AT&T
right
Stadium.
down the street from the AT&T Stadium. And if y'all want to reach us and check out some of the work, we do a lot of appointments. So if y'all want to look at some of the guys' work or look at my work and see the kind of style you're looking at getting, I mean, you definitely hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. Our Facebook is InkMasters Arlington, and our Instagram is InkMasters_DFW. So check us out.
Yeah, you guys come check them out. Thank you guys so much for,
Yes.
just kind of sharing about the industry and the journey that it took you guys to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But y'all come see them, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.